Hey fellas, what's up? Let's talk a minute about making the body for this new truck project that we're working on. So I took some time and laid out some measurements, came up with this figure right here, this little drawing that I did. And basically all I used was a scale metal ruler. Well, not scale, it's not the scale, but it's just your typical metal school ruler, so to speak. And I like to do things simple. As you can see, we've got an overall length of 8.5 inches, an overall height of 4 inches, and then our wheel wells right here, centered them up 4.5 inches to the center of this one, 6.5 inches to this one, or an additional 2 inches. And then that leaves you with 2 inches at the end. Try to keep everything nice and simple. Now, if we take this paper, and the paper kind of curled on me, but if we set it up here like this, you want your wheel wells, about yay high above the top half of your tire, and you want the bottom of your box to kind of correspond with the bottom of this. It can be a little lower. This would look good because the area underneath the door will facilitate the fuel tank. And then that leaves us a decent sized gap between the body and the cab. Now, this is all highly, subject to making parts and cutting styrene. The overall length on it, maybe we can extend that another 1/8 of an inch. And it's kind of hard to sit here and hold the paper and the camera at the same time and say that's what we want, because the cab is pretty much just setting in place, but the wheel and tire spacing look pretty good in the opening. So yeah, maybe we need to make that a little bit longer. And if I do that, I will just add the dimension to the front leading edge of this. Maybe instead of 8.5, we go 8 5/8 maybe. But you can see here I got a side A, and I also made a side B for the other part of this that we want to talk about. Now that I've knocked everything off. So what we're looking at here on side B, again, 8.5 inches overall. So what we're talking about here is the area that says 4.25, 4.25 inches. That whole area is going to be cut out. This whole area here, and there will be a piece of scale tread plate put in there. And then we will cut the wheel wells out of the tread plate. And like I said, this is all I did was took my caliper and went 200 thousandths from this edge of the wheel well out. the edge at the top up, same thing all around, and just basically boxed it out. Not rocket science. You know, these may not even add up to 8.5. I didn't go through and re-add them up, but that's all I did was eyeball it up here like this. You know, and that doesn't look too bad. Now we did come up with our overall numbers. The width, we want this box to be 4 inches wide. And I came up with that by the front of this truck. And all I did was lay this up to the sides of the fenders. 1, 2, 3, 4 inches. So the back of the box will be even to the edge of the front fenders if we're going straight back. Okay, about like that. Again, I'm just holding this. And then that leaves us room to put us a little fender flare on the outside edge of that. And then the 4-inch height of it, I just kind of eyeballed that I wanted. I just kind of held it up here. I think you guys can make this out. I know all this stuff's kind of hard to see. But I wanted it, you know, above the cab a little bit. Let's see. You can't see none of these damn... You can't see none of these damn rulers very good. But I'm going to try to hold my thumb right there where it says 4 inches. Let's do this. Hold on 1 second. All right. More than one way to skin a cat. Stuck a piece of masking tape on this, so hopefully you'll be able to see it. The bottom of the tape is 4 inches. So I wanted it above the cab, but then I wanted it somewhat close to the bottom of this fender, because when we cut this hood off, I kind of misspoke earlier that it doesn't get cut off all the way. We'll cut through here, cut here, and then we have to come over this way and cut it out here. This bottom portion will remain attached to the cab and just be from here up. We'll swing forward. So I wanted to make that as, you know, as fairly close to the bottom of that fender as I could, but yet give us a little height above the cab. So, you know, again, highly subject to whatever, 1/2 inch below the bottom of the frame. Puts us about right there. And if I try to bring this straight out, which I know I can't, but that's about right there. Again, this will look better once I get all 4 sides of it cut out and glued together. But all we did was we actually just had the truck there, and you know, we just kind of held our rulers up and tried to make the easiest dimensions that we could You see we got a 2-inch space there between the center of the rear wheels. We're damn close to it. Yeah, I'd say it's about 2 inches. Probably don't look like it in the camera, but... And we just kind of went from there. Now, like I said, I may have to adjust things forward a 32nd. I don't think I'd have to go quite 1/8 of an inch, but even if we did, that's fine. I still wanted to give myself some final adjustment up here in case we had an issue with this engine actually fitting in here and clearing the interior. You know, I made some new motor mounts for it that will go down inside, but once we get that all figured out and lined up, we have to see where the interior sets versus this, and what all we'll have to remove. I mean, it's going to be okay if the cab has to come back a little, or maybe goes up a little. You know, when you're talking a 32nd of an inch is not much. And then in the world of plastic, it's practically nothing. So again, that's all I did, was I just sat down and drawed out some quick numbers on some paper, and tried to give me something that my brain can easily work with. Use whole numbers, round numbers, and you know, just make what you design fit what you have. You know, it gives us a good 1.5 inch overhang behind the back tire. And then by keeping keeping everything simple, that means we only cut this piece out twice, one for each side. And then the width, we only cut 2 pieces out, you know, the front and the back. And then we make our door compartments and stuff as we go along after we get the box finished. All right, so that's our next phase in this build is assembling this box. And I'm going to have to go to the hobby shop and buy some more styrene sheets. I do believe, I don't think I have enough. Yeah, I don't have enough to make this with. But that's where we're at, and we'll talk to you guys later.